Georgia has passed the Riley-Gaines Act, which prohibits transgender males from competing in women's sports. The Georgia House approved the bill with a 100 to 254 vote, reflecting a significant political divide. As all opposition votes came from Democrats, the legislation aims to ensure that only biological females can participate in women's athletic events, addressing concerns about fairness and safety in sports. The act is named after Riley-Gaines, a former collegiate swimmer who has been vocal against transgender participation in women's sports following her experience competing against transgender swimmer Lia Thomas. Proponents argue that the bill is necessary to protect opportunities for female athletes, while opponents, including LGBTQ+ advocates, describe it as discriminatory and harmful to transgender individuals. The bill now moves to the Senate, where similar legislation has already been passed. If enacted, it would extend restrictions on transgender participation beyond high school to include collegiate athletics, joining at least 25 other states with similar laws. Great news for women's sports. Fairness and common sense prevail in Georgia. The Riley-Gaines Act is a step in the right direction to protect female athletes. Just to be clear, the law bans trans females from competing against women. A trans female was born with XY chromosomes, male, identified as female, but likely has a biological advantage in strength and speed against a biological female, due to having higher levels of testosterone for most of their life. In contrast, a trans male was born XX chromosomes, a biological female, and identifies as male. We have to protect our women. Allowing men to participate in women's sports is the most misogynistic thing I have ever heard. It's tragic that it has come to this point where each state has to pass a law. Biological men should be banned from women's sports. You would think this would be common sense. Anyone who is against this needs to be committed to a mental institution. You have or ever had or ever hope to have a penis. You don't get to play in girls' women's sports, or use the locker room or bathrooms. Not a hard concept to grasp. Being a trans woman doesn't magically make you a real woman. You're artificially altered. Being a trans man doesn't magically make you a man. You're artificially altered. I hope all you trans people understand you're altered. I hope you get an organized trans sports organization so you all may compete the way you want to compete. Try putting your efforts into organized trans sports. You will not be permitted to compete with biological and altered persons.